Now, some of the most distinguished scientists in the land want the Prime Minister formally to forgive Alan Turing, the great mathematician who played a crucial role in breaking the wartime Nazi Enigma code system. Turing killed himself 2 years after being convicted of gross indecency with a man. No one denies Turing was a brilliant man who performed a great service for his country. No one denies his suicide was a tragedy. But what exactly is the Prime Minister to forgive? Indeed, is he in any position to do so? And why not apologise to other victims of other now long-dead laws?
He was a brilliant mathematician and a computer pioneer. It was Alan Turing's work decoding military messages sent out by the German Enigma machine that made him a national hero. During the Second World War, Germany believed the Enigma code was unbreakable. In one of the most secret projects of the war at Bletchley Park, Turing's team cracked it. It gave the Allies the intelligence they needed to anticipate what the Germans might do next, shortening the war and saving lives. But in 1952, Alan Turing was charged with gross indecency for committing homosexual acts. He avoided prison only by agreeing to injections of female hormones. 2 years later, he was found dead, having eaten an apple laced with cyanide. In 2009, after an online petition calling for him to be pardoned received tens of thousands of signatures, Gordon Brown apologised for the way Turing had been treated. Now, scientists including Stephen Hawking, the head of the Royal Society, and the Astronomer Royal have called for David Cameron formally to forgive him. But if Turing is pardoned, who else? Oscar Wilde. He's famous too. Do great actions make you more deserving than the thousands of others convicted under the same law? Posthumous pardons do happen. In 2006, the MOD gave one to more than 300 soldiers shot for military offences including cowardice during World War I. A pardon doesn't undo the damage, but campaigners say it would undo the blemish.
Well, Bletchley Park is in the constituency of Ian Stewart, and he's supporting the campaign for Alan Turing to be pardoned. Professor Marcus de Sotoy is Professor of Mathematics at the University of Oxford. What difference would a pardon make?
I just think in this Alan Turing centenary year, a pardon would not only help us to celebrate his many achievements, but would right a wrong, a dreadful wrong that was done to this brilliant man.
He's dead.
Well, as you said in the introduction, there is a precedent now. The deserters in World War I were pardoned. The government has passed already an act in the Protection of Freedoms Act, which cleanses the record of living people who were convicted of such crimes, so-called crimes. I just think now we...
What do you think about the wrong?
Well, I mean, Alan Turing is one of my great heroes. He's obviously one of the greatest scientists of the 20th century. But in some ways, I think the issue is slightly confused because, you know, why pardon him? Because he's a great mathematician and a hero for the Second World War, helped crack the Enigma machine. I think this doesn't go far enough. I think certainly he should be pardoned, but I think we should pardon everybody who was convicted under that act because the wrong was making that a criminal act.
Yes, his fame, his celebrity, his talent or whatever, should not entitle him to preferential treatment, should it?
Well, so the government has already acted to cleanse the record of living people. It doesn't apply posthumously. There may well be other very deserving cases.
What about Oscar Wilde? He was convicted of the same offence, wasn't he?
Indeed. And you know, I might...
So you pardon him too?
I think that's a separate debate to be had, but I just think Alan Turing... We owe our liberty...
You would say yes,
well, I would say this is just confusing it. It isn't really... It's about...
what about people convicted of witchcraft?
Well,
that's another law that no longer
exists. I think that's straying off about Alan Turing. We owe our liberty to this man. He cracked the Enigma codes. Without his work, the war would certainly have been prolonged and the outcome may have been different. I just think the apology that was given by Gordon Brown was absolutely right, but I just think that we can do better than that, and I think there's a public appetite for it.
But at the time, this was a crime, what he did.
That's a fair point, and that's why governments of both colours have resisted a pardon until now. But I think there is a debate to be had, and I would like to see Parliament have a chance fully to debate this and express its opinion.
Where would you take it? You say this is a pardon that should be extended to everyone convicted of this crime. Would you extend it to other things that are no longer a crime? I mean, I mentioned witchcraft. There are people who died because
I think this is a case of taking each particular criminal act and deciding actually it should never have been a criminal act. And in this case, I think it's totally clear that it was a big mistake to criminalise
witchcraft have been a crime since it
That's
doesn't
fair enough.
exist.
I would probably go for witchcraft as well, but I'll start with this one.
So there would be a blanket pardon, despite the fact that in the context of the time it was a crime.
Yeah, I think the pardon is saying that it was a mistake to make that a crime, and we now realise that it was a mistake. It should never have been a criminal act.
Retrospective wisdom.
Well, I think it's slightly strange, the letter which is asking the Cameron to pardon Alan Turing. He did nothing wrong. It doesn't need forgiving. I mean, it was the word forgiveness.
Well, who was saying Cameron to receive the pardon anyway?
Well, exactly. I think they should be asking Turing to forgive them. Frankly, I think it's all the wrong way round.
But if I can just point out, there is a bill in Parliament at the moment, sponsored by my colleague in the Lords, Lord Sharkey. The bill is very specifically on Alan Turing. So it would be Parliament that passed a law. It wouldn't be the Prime Minister himself granting a pardon. I think that's a very important point.
Okay, thank you both very much.